Hey, this is Golfer Pete, and we're on the golf podcast. We got somebody from the Phoenix area. Normally a little warmer, but we'll get into that a little later. But I want Cory to introduce himself, who he is, what he does, and who he serves, and then we'll get into our podcast.
Beautiful, Pete. Thanks for that intro and the time this morning. Pleasure being here. My name is Cory Powell. I am the founder and CEO of a platform called Hubble.GOLF.
Mhm.
My background is in golf. I've been in the industry, man, for the last 25 plus years. I was introduced to the game by my grandfather at about 10 years old. I had some awesome tutelage as a younger child, played collegiately, played professionally. Was the owner operator of a pro tour for a handful of years. My entire kind of adolescent and adult life has been dedicated to the game. Now, Hubble Golf is a culmination of those 25 years of life experience. Ultimately, we are creating a platform that services the golf industry, democratizes the space, puts information, tools, resources back in the hands of the user and the community, and hopefully continue to grow the game.
I love it. I have a person here. He played for KSU, which is Kennesaw State University. He's from Barcelona, and we met about a year ago. And so his first aspirations was the PGA Tour, and then he kind of evaluated as he was going through the university. He said, maybe I need to readjust and look at other places to serve, still in the golf industry. So
Certainly.
was there a time when, you're in that professional journey that you said, okay, maybe I need to shift a little bit and do something else, since 10 years old is a long time to be playing golf and then maybe move in a different direction. What was that like for you to kind of look at another avenue still in the golf business?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. That's really kind of how Hubble was born. It was 2015. I had been playing for about 5 years. I had some moderate success. I had an early investor, and I was able to parlay that over the course of my career. Had a handful of wins. I was able to sustain, but I got to a point where living out of a suitcase, traveling out of the back of your car and sleeping in your car, year after year. Great experience, great memories, but there comes a point in time. I was about 28 at the time, and I said, "Hey, I'm going to be approaching 30 soon." That was kind of my benchmark of whether I was going to make it or not. And fortunately, the idea kind of I don't want to say fell in my lap, but it stemmed from a need, from my own need. Kind of my last part of my career, I decided to take a more state open Monday qualifier route, try to maybe see if I could Monday into an event. And from that, I was invited to play in an event in Indiana. And, as a player, always looking at ROI, whether it be, just ROI as a business, your business, what events were out there, what it cost to enter, what was the purse. There's all these variables you look at. And ultimately, I spent weeks and weeks trying to figure out kind of my last tour, so to speak. And along the way, I kind of decided, what if there was a website out there that allocated all this tournament information and created a way for you to create an itinerary and put together a budget? So, I had this idea. Then I went on the road. I spent about 50,000 miles behind a windshield and a lot of time to think to go along with that. And came back, went to Q school, missed it second stage. And I said, kind of getting a little burnout. And so came back and started this website and played a little of a bit of events in 2016. And it's kind of started this website called Mini Tour Hub, which serviced mini tour professionals. From
Mhm.
that, a local golf management group came to me that wanted to start a new tour and said, "Hey, we want to be on your platform. Can you maybe help advise us on starting this new tour?" And, I was kind of maybe going to do a give and take. I help you start this new tour. Maybe you invest in my tech idea. It didn't work out on either side, but we had put together a business plan, and I found some partners to start this new mini tour. There was a need in our local marketplace. And so that's when we launched the Outlaw Tour in 2016, fall of 2016. And I kind of, behind the scenes in my head, I was thinking, well, I've been on the player side, on the consumer side, but I've never been on the business side. So this is an opportunity for me to create some value for my peers and colleagues, and kind of an opportunity to see behind the scenes what the business end of it looks like. And yeah, it's funny. You don't really understand how the dominoes set up or how every piece of the puzzle is meant to fit together until you get far enough down the road. And I mean, every bit of my journey from playing to being an operator, now in the tech space and doing some advisory work for some other golf startups. I mean, it's it's a maturation period. There's a lot of things that need to be learned and skills that need to be acquired to kind of ultimately produce good fruit. And it's been a fun journey.
I love it when you said the adding the value. What would you say to our viewers, like when you talk about how you're creating value for your user? What would you say the top couple of things you guys are doing to accomplish that?
I think from the very beginning, when we go to market here, probably in the next month, we're going to provide the largest searchable tournament database in all of golf. So I kind of look back to the beginning of my career in junior golf, when my parents were trying to figure out what events I was going to play in the summer and what it was going to cost and where I was going to stay. I mean, I think now as a father of two young boys, time and money is very important to us. And so if I can provide a tool to parents and junior golfers that kind of helps start them on their journey, or maybe accelerate their journey and experience, and help parents be more efficient and effective with their time and dollars. And then for the professionals, the same thing. Kind of those will be my two audiences that I'll be really trying to drive value to. And then beyond that, just really golf it's obviously become very popular over the last couple of years, and the demographic is becoming wider and wider, and the access to information the net of information out there is so broad. And so if I can provide a centralized place where, whether you're a beginning golfer or you're someone trying to play professionally, or you're a charity event or organization, ultimately, if I can provide this hub of information and this suite of tools to the marketplace, I think it should help drive business for businesses, because I'm going to be bringing them their audience. And then really for the golf enthusiast, I'm not trying to create kind of activity focused apps. I'm trying to create a time saving tool and information for the marketplace. So yeah, I mean, the very beginning though is we're going to provide tools for the tournament enthusiast. There's 12 million people that compete in over 150,000 events. And if we can kind of be that Travelocity, so to speak, for that audience, there's nothing out there like it. And like I said, it stems from a need that I had. I mean, when I was in, this kind of dates me a little bit, but when I was starting in junior golf, my grandfather and I would travel during the summers to events. And I remember I'd have my little manila folder, and I'd have kind of the tournament details on one side, and then I'd have a bunch of stapled MapQuest directions and hotel reservation pages. And so, if we can kind of do all that for the user through our technology, and you can kind of pull it all up and your results and everything in the palm of your hand, I think it's a pretty neat thing. At least I hope so. We'll find out soon.
No, I'm a golfer from age. I couldn't hit a curveball, so I changed from baseball at about 12 to golf because that ball wasn't moving. And I thought it's a better chance of me hitting that ball. And so, but I had a gentleman on my podcast a little while ago. It was actually the first day that the kind of live tour, that negotiating came to pass. And so we were talking about Top Golf. He's Ralph Stokes. He's diversify. He does a diversified golf for the Georgia Golf Association, and he works for PGA Superstore. So,
Okay.
so he's like Arthur Blank's right-hand person in that. And he's 17 years, 20 years in golf because he came out of the insurance business. But he said this, Top Golf, they monitor that. It used to be 1% would move from off-course golf to on course. Now it's up to 6%. So the younger people are going, hey, you know what? This is pretty cool. I don't have to spend 5 hours hitting the ball sideways and chasing balls in the woods. I can have a burger, a beer, and I can have some fun with some friends. So,
Yeah.
I love those trends. And I do agree with you because we have people at our club. I'm in Pine Tree, which is in Kennesaw, that they're mapping out their kids' journey of where they're going to go this summer and where they're going to, and it's a maze out there. I mean, it is absolute. There's so many things going on. And my friend, he's going, I don't know how to even keep up because, so I guess address the parents right here. The peace of mind is that they can go to one place and put in a criteria, and then all of a sudden it's going to give them their options. Is that the way I'm reading it?
Yeah, that's correct. So if you're a parent of a junior golfer and say your kid falls in a 10 to 12 age bracket, male or female, doesn't matter, but you can go on and put, the age, maybe the entry fee pricing. You can search by state, proximity to location, level of play, bookmark events, register directly for the event, create a running itinerary. So whether you want to have a spring, summer, fall, winter itinerary, once you have an event in your itinerary, it'll show you total distance for that whole itinerary, distance to and from each event, travel directions. You can book hotel, airfare, rental car, all of your budgets running, and then we'll have some cool features after that. But create there's social networking, so you can create your own profile. Kind of, if you're an aspiring professional, you can list all of your accomplishments, your accreditations, links to your other social accounts. Kind of beyond that, you can create groups. So if you want to have travel with other families, you can create a group, share, say one person pays for the hotel or an Airbnb, you can then split the expense between the other people in your group. So we're really, I would say maybe one advantage that I might have over other tech startup founders or what have you, I would say an advantage that we had when we started the Outlaw Tour and why we grew so quickly. When we started in the Phoenix market, we were the 4th mini tour in town.
What? Really? Dang.
Yeah, there was the Gateway Tour. There was another mini tour called the Pepsi Tour, another one called the Dream Chasers Tour, and then we were the Outlaws, the Renegades. We were the Outlaw Tour. So we came in to kind of kick up the dust a little bit. And within 2 years, we were able to push all of our competitors out of the market, and we had full market share. And I think that we achieved that. There was a little bit of time and circumstance and luck involved, but I think our motto was we were a tour built for players by players. I think we had success because we were players first before we were operators, and we saw over the years what we liked and didn't like and tried to apply that to our business. And it's the same thing with Hubble. It's taken me a long time. This idea, I think I filed my LLC almost 10 years ago. And so this has been a very long, just kind of behind the scenes chipping away. We were able to raise some angel investment capital September of last year to build things out. But, I ask a lot of questions. I've spent a lot of time on the first tee, sending players off, the Outlaw Tour. We're really trying to build something that provides value to the user and really think of all the things that, okay, as a parent, and I'm trying to create this summer season, what are things that are going to help manage this tour better, my child's experience, manage my time and money, So yeah, it's kind of, we're really trying to be very thoughtful in what we're creating.
Yeah, no, I looked at it. I thought this is a cool idea, but I didn't dig deep into it. And I thought, well, we're gonna do it on the podcast. What I always like community, and we build communities in what we do. So a lot of business owners are in those silos. They don't get outside of their own little headspace. Did you have like a partner, or did you have a group of people that you have collaborated with from a certain point that your idea just like, hey, this thing will really hit the market? How did you do that when you were kind of in that early development part of the business?
That's a really good question. I mean, I've had a lot of people that have kind of come into the team at different points, or mentors. I mean, I would say one of my first mentors was a gentleman by the name of Alan LeBach. And he was a co-founder of Sky Mall magazine. And
Wow.
yeah, I mean, when I first met him, wow, yeah,
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
me,
I mean, that's a brand, Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
And he was innovative, right? Like he created something that had never been around before. And so he got me thinking, he poured a lot into me in the early years. And then just a lot of it's been, like I said, one of the biggest blessings and opportunities I've had is the founding the Outlaw Tour with my two business partners, and being an owner operator of that, really being
Right.
able to talk to players on a daily basis, and even the evolution of players from when I competed to now, who the generation of players that are out there, getting onto the PGA Tour now. It's a very stark difference between 10 years ago mini tour player to 10 years now present day. So but being able to ask a lot of questions, have a lot of conversations, develop relationships with, junior golf organizations and amateur organizations, trying to help. And, I try to help with a lot of different charity golf tournaments, just from an advisor kind of standpoint, but asking questions there. I just ask a lot of questions and I try to listen. You know, I've I was a sales director for a drone company, and they basically sold automated drone technology to golf course superintendents.
Mm-hmm.
So they were an emerging, tech company, but we were more in the green grass agriculture space. But I'd never really done sales at that level. So for me, it was an opportunity to be a part of an emerging startup that had funding, that was building out a team, building out a sales team, kind of be a part of that, at the ground level.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a learning experience. I try to seek. I've never taken a salary from this, so being an entrepreneur and having a wife and two kids, there's a financial responsibility that goes along with that. So I've worn a lot of hats, done a lot of jobs, all in the golf space, kind of as a way to extend my runway during this entrepreneurial endeavor, and also as an opportunity to learn from those that have done it, to have more skills and knowledge. I've read a lot of books, listened to a lot of podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm a sponge, eager to learn and
Yeah.
continually striving to seek more knowledge. And I probably will always be that way. And I hope that parlays into what we're creating.
No, just as you described that, I think it is the ideal mindset to have, and it's necessary to be successful in today's competitive entrepreneurial golf space, whatever space you're in.
Yeah.
What would you say? How did you like? I know you just didn't fall out of the crib and come up with this mindset. Who influenced you, like to the point when you were growing up, that gave you kind of the why questions, the curiosity, the learning? Was there people in your life that you can attribute that to?
Absolutely. I mean, I think I've always been a curious kid from just straight out of the womb. My oldest son, I see so much of myself in him. He's 3 years old, and see his curiosity and how he works. So I think I've always been that way by nature. The work ethic, the discipline, I would say work ethic. My dad, he's had 100 different jobs and super successful now, but just seeing him climbing the rung of
Hmm.
life and just working through adversity. My grandpa was a successful businessman and entrepreneur, military guy. He introduced me to the game. He was my best friend. He was who I traveled with, every summer. And I mean, he was by my side at every step of the way. He was a hard nosed son of a gun, though.
Hmm.
I never, there was never any, hey, good rounds, good playing. It was, oh, well, why'd you do this? It was kind of almost like Tiger Woods'
Yeah,
father,
yeah,
a lot similar
exactly.
to that. So I mean, disciplined. He was one of the most disciplined individuals I've ever seen.
Hmm.
Um, and then my mom, I mean, she's two-time cancer survivor. Just her positive, optimistic attitude, I think, is
Right.
where my positivity and optimism comes from. I mean, and then I mean, I'm a product of my environment. I grew up where I grew up in California, Tiger. It was like I said, I'm 37, so I was coming into high school right around 2000, which is when
Okay.
Tiger Woods was at his
Yep.
prime. And Tiger Woods' childhood coach, Rudy Duran, happened to live in the same area I grew up in. He created a junior golf program, an ecosystem that was just unparalleled. I mean, you basically went through kind of a schooling system to reach a certain level of junior golf card. And then once you reach that, range balls were 50 cents. A round of golf was $3 at any course in the county. It produced just like I said, an environment and ecosystem that bred really good golfers. It was a very
Right.
competitive environment. We had a lot of high school kids that went on to play D1 college golf. One of them won a national championship at Cal. So it was just kind of, you were always striving for that next guy, and very competitive. And then,
Hmm.
just people that have been around my life from childhood to present day. I mean, um, yeah, it's funny how you just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep trying to bring value to people, and
Yes.
being open to conversation. It's amazing what doors will be open to you and who will come into your life, and kind of, it always seems to be the right person or the right thing at the right time to keep kind of moving things forward. And it's not sexy and glamorous, and it's definitely not an overnight thing. I mean, like I said, I've been at this for almost 10 years. I've had a lot of failures, getting kicked in the stomach every day, and kind of just, hey, I'm just going to do it again. I've come this far, just do
Yeah.
it again tomorrow. So,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
that entrepreneur journey is not a straight path of just walking through the park.
yeah, it's a
It's
lot of
weaving and
wiggling and
bogging,
waggling.
learning. What would you say? Like, I'm always curious of the people's morning routine. Do you have like a morning routine that kind of gets you ready for the day?
I do. And it's definitely evolved over time. I would say, so present day, I'm sitting in an office in a warehouse. My buddy Ryan Sawyer owns a company called Old Town Golf Shop. If you're in need of golf components, shafts, tips, grips, he's kind of the AutoZone of for the golf repair business. Look
Hmm.
him up. I started working with him, making boxes in his garage, helping him build his company about a year and a half, almost 2 years ago. And so I would say the environment, there's him, myself, and another gentleman, Andrew, in the warehouse. We're all kind of listening to the David Goggins, the Ed Milet's, kind of
Yeah, yeah,
we're
yeah,
very, we're all like-minded and kind of push
yeah.
one another. So,
Yes.
with a wife and two kids, and trying to basically balance, full-time, part-time job with him,
Yeah.
and then building Hubble, I typically start my days like 4:30, hit the gym, come home, do a cold plunge, kind of write out my time blocks for the day, get dressed, make breakfast for the kids, help the wife, get the kids out of the house. And usually by about 7 a.m., I'm 7:30, I try to be out of the house. and then into the office by around 8 o'clock, and pretty much hammer away my day from there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty routine. I mean, lately I've been kind of burning. We've got a lot of things going on, and so
Mhm.
I've been burning the candle a little bit at both ends, kind of early mornings and late nights. Some nights up till
Right.
12 once the kids go down. So those mornings, sometimes time I get up changes a little bit. For the most part, though, it's get up, move, do something hard. I believe in God, so I do a little devotional in the morning to kind of
Yep.
get my mind right, and yeah, go about my day from there.
Yeah, I love Ed Milet. Yeah, he was like what for just still is like my number one person. I mean, I don't have many notifications because I just keep everything on silent. But I was the one I marked it, so I get his first videos that hit and all that, and I just geek out on him because for some reason, he really gets into everything that I think an entrepreneur needs to be aware of,
Yeah,
and he delivers such a simple but direct message that you're always being challenged to change. I haven't been on. I've asked the morning routine on a few people. I don't know anybody that said 4 a.m. I get up at 4 a.m. every day. I have such
yeah,
a routine. I'm OCD big time. I mean,
same.
if you don't, I think it doesn't set the tone for the day if you don't
Yeah,
have that morning routine. I want to ask a tech question, and then we'll wind down. So I hear AI all the time. So you're in the tech space. How are you embracing that technology as you're developing things? Or what is your
that's
thoughts on it?
so. It's a good question. I'm indifferent about it. So I think if not managed properly, AI can be very scary, and I think it's definitely cost of doing business is more expensive, right? And there's a lot more companies adopting AI, which is going to take away a lot of jobs from Americans, from just the global working economy as a whole. And I say I'm indifferent because that's kind of my wholehearted belief behind it. But I'm also a startup with money and time is scarce. So, I use AI for some of our automations to help us create content, written content,
Mm-hmm.
content ideas. I think I'll speak from like kind of, I'll nerd out for you for a little bit. When I talk
Yeah.
about us being the digital concierge side and being able to book travel and things like that, there we could very easily embed AI technology into our platform to where we start machine learning your preferences, what you like to spend, where you like to go, and kind of start suggesting things to you. And that's something that I may not be opposed to at the end of the day, but I kind of want to run. Hubble will become big in scale. We will ultimately become a very large tech company if
Right.
everything goes well. I mean, that's what we're shooting for, right? But I want to grow big in size, but I want to remain small in our customer service, our
Yeah.
customer experience. I believe I'm old school. And so I believe that customer service, customer experience, being transparent in your business practices, I don't want to lose that human touch.
Yes.
And again, it's about community at the end of the day. So the
Yep.
minute that I start embedding all this AI and all this technology, and then I'm just another Facebook or another kind of just big tech company, and I don't want to be that. I always want to remain that human touch. I always want to be about community. Like I said, I'm trying to democratize the space, and if I'm trying to democratize the space, it's about you as the user, not me as the founder, president, whatever.
Right. I
So
love it.
that's kind of my short and long answer to that.
No, I love it for this reason. There's a gentleman I geek out on because I had a stroke 2 years ago. So I was really focused on the brain and everything to do with that brain. And so Jim Quick, he talks about HI, human intelligence, that
Yeah.
Yes, and it's really like our brain, as he describes it, it's a muscle. And so how we exercise, we're not going to AI our brain. It's like that. You still have to have that human part of anything. That's what makes us unique, different
Yeah.
than anything out there. And I think the people that get carried away with AI and go off on that kind of mindset are going to be missing the boat. Yes, I think you're right. It's going to save some money, some time. It's going to replace a lot. I mean, it's going to be a disruption. I mean, that's going to, but we can't get away from the fact that this brain up here is our unique thing, and that HI is more important than that, AI, as he says. So I want to thank you, Cory. Tell people how they can engage with you, or how can people get a hold of you? And we'll just let them.
Instagram. So all of our social platforms are Hubble.golf. Pretty
Okay.
easy. The website's also Hubble.golf, www.hubble.golf. Right now, we're a small team. It's myself and two other individuals. This is
Mhm.
all kind of a part-time, full-time gig for us. So we're getting more active on LinkedIn. We're about to start a marketing campaign on really all social platforms. But if you want to get in touch, whether it's you want to be featured on the platform when we go live, you want some help with your charity event or any type of golf event, if you have a junior golfer and you want to, some background information on maybe what's the best route to go for playing junior golf in the summer, or you want your kid to go to college, or you're hoping they play pro. I've kind of been there, done that for the last 20 years.
Yeah.
I love talking to people. I'm here to help. So yeah, shoot us a DM on Instagram. And yeah, well, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And then, I'll be posting some things coming up here about a launch and beta test and all the fun things that are coming on the platform. And yeah, Pete, I really appreciate your time this morning. It's been a great
Yeah,
conversation, very
absolutely. And
engaging.
I love, well, I do senior golf, I mean senior living, but because it just took off, and golf is my passion. I love
Yeah.
golf and I geek out on it, like we were talking here. So I would love to have you back as you get closer to like the launch, and we can give our viewers more of an insight. And I'm sure it's a subscription model, which is beautiful, because if you can obviously bring value to people, they're going to want to always have access to it. What would you
Certainly.
are the one thing our golf fans could take home from you today on the podcast?
Oh man, that is a really good question. Man, I would say for like life, me personally, that it's very cliche to say, but if you have a dream, if you have a desire, if you have true passion burning in your belly of something, go out and do it. It's not going to be easy, but if you wake up every day and you continue to do the hard things time over time, you start to build momentum. You had mentioned your morning routine, Pete. That momentum will carry through your day, will carry through weeks, will carry through months, and ultimately, if you just keep persevering, you will see success. And you'll be, I think, a more well-rounded, better human individual
Absolutely.
because of it. And ultimately, that's what we're all striving for at the end of the day. A little bit of joy, a little bit of peace.
Yep.
Some passion, some purpose to wake us up in the morning and keep us moving. And go out there and have fun on the golf course. It's a beautiful game.
Yeah, it is.
Hopefully the weather starts warming up here. We can get out there
Yes.
and enjoy it. And yeah, I'm happy to be a part of this community. I'm happy to be a part of this game. It's brought me so much
Yes.
in my lifetime, and I'm excited to hopefully give back and do the same for people that either are playing or have yet to play the game and someone interested in playing. And yeah, I appreciate these conversations and people like you, Pete, who share the same passion and vigor for the game, and are here to tell the stories of the people and the movers and shakers and kind of everyone that's on the fringe of the game.
Absolutely. Well, Cory, thank you so much for being a guest, and we would love for you to come back and give us a little update as you progress and get closer to that launch date.
Absolutely, and I'd love to do that.
Okay. Thank you, Cory.
Thank you, Pete.